I knew going on a cruise was a bad idea. I've always hated the water, and who doesn't have that deep-seated fear of what lurks beneath the waves? More than water, though. I really hated people. That's why my wife wanted me to come in the first place. She told me it would help me relax, break me out of my shell. She's dead now. But hey, at least she tried. Ironically enough, it was her need to mingle on deck that got her killed. I should have been there with her. I should have never let her leave my side. But how was I supposed to know this would happen? How was I supposed to know that the last words to my wife were going to be lies? I have a headache. The waves are making me queasy. I think I'm going to stay back and rest for a while. Anything to get her out of my hair so I could avoid socialization. But what difference did it make? I'm probably going to be dead soon too. If not by those things outside, then by thirst or starvation, I'm sure. I don't think anyone's coming to save us. Everything just happened so suddenly. One minute I'm napping, the next I'm jolted awake by the ship coming to a complete stop in the middle of nowhere. As I rose from my bed and wiped the sleep from my eyes, that's when I noticed the screaming. One blood-curdling scream that eventually built into a cascade of ravenous outcries. It was enough to keep me glued to the floor of my room. I tried to swallow my fears, and as soon as my hand touched the door handle, the knocking began. A woman on the other side of the door, banging like her life depended on it, and solidifying the idea by begging for me to open the door. My blood ran cold and my body froze again. I hesitated. And before I could regain my senses, the begging stopped. Silence didn't replace the sounds, though. No, the sound of begging and knocking were replaced by what sounded like that poor lady getting tackled. I heard flesh tearing from bone, bones breaking, and worst of all, what sounded like the grunts and growls of a rabid animal tearing into its next meal. I checked the people, and it was no animal. Instead, what I found was one of the lifeguards, still dressed in uniform, devouring this woman's stomach while she convulsed on the ground. That's when the power went out, leaving me behind in the darkness, rocking back and forth against the waves below. Blood began to seep under the door, soaking the carpet and threatening to touch my feet. The thought of my wife hit me like a truck. She was still out there, and I had no idea if she was safe. I had no idea where she was, and the only hope I had was my cell phone. I plucked the phone from my pocket, intending to dial my wife, but was cut off by a news alert on my home screen. Mysterious viral outbreak aboard cruise ship in the Atlantic. World Health Organization on high alert. I heard choppers circling overhead and felt momentary relief that maybe this would all be over soon. Unfortunately, those hopes were dashed through the whirring of the helicopter blades. Gunshots began to ring off in every direction. I didn't hear screams, though. All I heard were footsteps, fast ones, scurrying around outside my room, only to be mowed down by the heavy gunfire from above. I called my wife with shaky hands. It rang once, twice, 3 times before I heard the chime of a ringtone on the other side of the door. I hung up and approached the door slowly. That's when I heard her. The sweet, sweet voice of my wife, begging me to let her in. begging me to come outside and join her. That was 3 days ago. I've resisted the temptation, but now there are more voices, more scratches at the door, more people begging me to let them in and to join them. I don't want to die alone in here. I don't want to waste away from thirst or starvation. I'm writing this now to let you all know that I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I have to join them. It's what she would want.